kind of walk me through a little bit about how you guys got started with casting and kind of how it progressed and how you guys kind of got to the point where, and I don't know if you guys think of it the same way as I do, but like how you kind of became the iconic sort of like voice of Brawlhalla esports.
It's funny because if you look at the original Reddit post that we made for the first Friendly Fire 2v2 tournament, which is the first tournament we ever did, we even said in that original post teasing the event that, hey, do y'all, we want to do the commentary, but if you don't want us to do the commentary, like, that's okay. You can tell us and we'll have someone else do it, because there was Raiden and there was Compton EMT. And so even from the very beginning, like, we didn't know what we were doing. I had never watched an esport in my life, and I didn't watch traditional sports either. So
That's not
what?
true. You watch Smite.
Not really. And
okay.
I don't think so. Maybe a little bit at that point, but I didn't watch esports on Smite, and I wasn't paying enough attention to figure out, like, oh, okay, so they're bringing it back to the stat screen here, and then here's how they're going to tell this story on this. Like, no, none of that was in my mind. I just like performing. I like telling jokes, and I like performing. That's what I did in high school band, and so really, it was just like...
Aren't you supposed to play the instrument in high school band?
Yeah, I played an instrument in high school band. I was on the drum line.
Yeah,
We talked about this earlier.
They were performing. What are you...
Yeah, but you're telling jokes,
I was telling jokes all throughout band. In fact, I got in trouble a lot of times for telling a lot of jokes.
That sounds problematic.
So I wanted to perform, and commentary was my way to perform, because I love performing. And so yeah, it was just like you just had to do it. There's no there was no how-to guide on how to do it. You just had to sit there and figure out how we're going to make this work, and how I wanted to get across the messages that I wanted to get across. And in the beginning, it was so bad. I was so selfish. It was about me and me making the huge impact, and everybody in chat laughing at my jokes and the funny things that I said, rather than making it about the competitors and the esport and their storylines. So I was definitely really selfish in the beginning in that sense. But it was literally just like doing it. You just had to do it, and you had to be out there on camera in front of, at that time, like, hundreds of people, and you had to fall flat on your face and feel like an idiot and be embarrassed, and just kind of push through that to figure out, at least for me, the way I personally wanted to be me, while also doing the commentary that you needed to do in order to, like, glorify the esport and make people care about the esport and the storylines that are happening and the victories and the losses and the journeys and everything in between.
Yeah, I think Sparky kind of hit the nail on the head about how, like, it was definitely a growing experience. I think if you look back at how we were when we started and how we are now, it's changed a lot. And I think to some people, they might think it's gotten worse. I personally think it's gotten better. At the very least, I'm not dying at the end of it, because I used to scream for like 8 hours straight. But it was definitely like a growing period, or like a growing experience, because like we would, put on an event, we would do Friendly Fire, we would do BCS, week 1 or whatever, and then like afterwards, almost always there'd be someone saying something. It would be like Pugsy on Reddit being like, they don't know anything about the game, or it would be like a message from somebody at BMG being like, y'all can't be so negative about these people. And so like a lot of times, you have to take that feedback and just kind of like internalize it and adapt it to whatever you're doing. I think Sparky's done a lot better job of kind of filtering that feedback and saying like, okay, you might have some good points, but I still want to do it this way. Whereas I am like, I think more jaded every time somebody says something even remotely mean to me, or even if if we cast together and somebody says Sparky's so funny, I get sad. It's just like a thing where, you have to be able to take that feedback and spin it into something that you can work with, which again, I have a hard time with, but that's kind of like how the growth has happened. Because aside from like a handful of people that have like actively kind of gone out of their way to help us, some people who I don't think I'm allowed to mention, but like it really was just kind of a, you try, you fail, go again.
Can I say something? Because
Sure.
yeah, I definitely want to say that as I've been watching The Boys since the beginning, it's definitely like what Duke and Rami is saying, that it's a growing experience, but we definitely along the way we did get like actually good constructive feedback from different areas, places, and things like that. And
bad
I
feedback from qualified
and-
individuals. And bad
that is
feedback
true.
too.
And that's also part of the learning experience too. Is I guess it's watching the boys figure out like what actually was good feedback and what actually is constructive. And it, I feel like it was definitely a journey for the both of them. I even gave them notes sometimes too, only because I have experience in acting and I can use that performance experience to be like, here's kind of the impression you want to give as far as like storytelling and how you hold yourself, how you talk, what is the pacing, what is the tone, make sure you make the important things important, because if you make everything important, then nothing's important. Like I would try my best to help out where possible. And I remember kind of those like growing pains in a sense of just them going at it and then getting some feedback and then trying and trying and trying again. It's definitely been a journey, and I honestly feel like they have grown so much and are so fantastic at what they do that they make it feel so easy. If you want me to put my opinion on what you guys do, seriously, I feel like you guys done it for so long now that you guys literally make it look so easy.
What else?
And it was never.
What else do you like about it?